Hey, what's up everybody? Ali Director back with a brand new video. Hopefully you can hear me very clearly. It is a bit windy here today, but I just wanted to shoot out this quick video and give you guys a little bit of advice when it comes to starting a business. The reason for me, of course, sharing this today is because obviously you guys know about my A-team. Let me break down what the A-team is, but before we get to that point, if you're new to this channel and you've been following me for a while and you've been watching my content and you like what I'm teaching, go ahead and subscribe and don't forget to turn the notifications on to all so that every time there's videos like these, you'll be the first to know. And also don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy the content, as well as if you like me in general in terms of the stuff that I share with you guys. And don't forget to share this video because those who are starting their business may benefit from this content. So with that said, let's get started on today's topic. So starting a business, some of the ins and outs that you need to know, and especially this is an important time to consider starting a business or start an entrepreneurial journey. And the reason I'm saying this is because a lot of people that I know on a personal level have been affected by COVID on a very mass scale. A lot of my clients who are obviously coming to me for personal credit assistance in addition to funding have gone through some of the lifelong challenges of having a career and all of a sudden having it ended due to the COVID or because of restructuring in a company. When you come to face those type of circumstances and life is basically throwing everything at you when it comes to economic challenges and financial difficulties, the last thing you want to do is think about the unknown and venture into an unknown space that you're not comfortable with or are not sure how things are going to end up. So for that reason, I'm inviting you guys to stay until the very end of this video to get the best value so that you can understand the ins and outs of starting a business, some of the things that you need to pay attention to, and some of the warning signs that'll help you kind of avoid some of the troubles in the future. Hopefully save you some money in the process, because I, on a personal level, have gone through a lot of that on a life lesson basis, and I can tell you confidently that the lessons I've learned when it comes to business, I don't want anybody to go through those negative experiences, because it'll definitely affect the way you look at business. It'll give you a sour taste in your mouth and you'll be discouraged altogether. So for that reason, let's go ahead and review some of those points. The point number one when it comes to starting your own business is to identify whether you can be a sole operator or you would need to have partners along the way to push yourself forward when it comes to being successful in doing business. And the reason I say this is because I've seen a lot of people start business, and what happens is when they start their business, they want to do sole as a sole operator, and then they start operating their business, and they soon realize that they will need partnerships and they will need people to help them basically whatever it is that they're doing. And when you're faced with those type of issues or challenges, one of the biggest things to think about is if it's obviously something that might come across in the future for you. So how do you tell if it's the right choice when it's not the right choice? So first and foremost, you need to understand a sole operating business requires that you wear many different hats. Many different hats means that you will have to do a lot of stuff on your own: sales and marketing, branding for yourself, going out there, getting distribution of whatever products or services you have, understanding the sale compound and basically how the sales process would work until the very end. You got to handle the customer service, you got to handle the logistics of your business, and so on and so forth. So there's a whole lot of things that you'll have to do when it comes to having your own business as a sole operator. Where a partnership structures, what can happen is you can actually bring in, invite other people alongside in the entrepreneurial journey and have them contribute some of their skill sets that they bring to the table, whether it be they're good in sales, whether they be good in finance, accounting, whatever the case, and complement your efforts to grow your business, together. And the reason I say this is very important is because the unicorn companies out there that are billion-dollar valuations, whether it be tech, whatever the case, logistics, and so on and so forth, they have complementary skill sets, but not just any complementary skill sets. I'm talking about complementary skill sets that have a skill and expertise that they have honed for years on end until this very moment to be able to give and drive the company forward with the value that they provide. Obviously, you don't want just anybody. You don't want family, friends, whatever, just because they're family and friends. There's a level of nepotism that we have to be careful with when it comes to that. But one thing I can comfortably tell you is that if you're selecting the option of starting a business through partnerships, you got to identify, the skill that they're going to bring to the table, whether or not they're the right fit for you and whether or not they will actually complement your business, because that is critical. That is the most important thing that you'll ever need when it comes to that process. So that's the first point I really want to get across, because when you're starting a business, understanding if you're going to be a sole operator or you're going to do it through partnership is a very critical step, because this will lead to point number two. Point number two is, what kind of infrastructure do you want to lay out, right? And the reason I say this is I'm not talking about like just being an LLC or C Corp or an S Corp or whatever the case. I'm talking about infrastructure as the type of publicity you're willing to go for, the type of infrastructure in terms of sales that you're willing to push boundaries with. the type of customer service that you're willing to push out so that people get the best experience possible when it comes to dealing with you, right? These type of platforms need to be realized. So the type of platform that you're willing to realize and set up for yourself is going to determine the success of your business. Mediocrity, yeah, it is, it's going to give you a little bit of money, but it's not going to give you long-term wealth, right? If you really want the long-term wealth, you got to think about, high-level execution, high-level customer service, high-level, products and services, and basically be meticulous care towards your organization and your customers, because that's the only time that you can actually excel in your business. That's the only time that you're going to be successful, creating something meaningful for the long haul, for yourself, for, the people that you deal with, and so on and so forth. So that's very critical. So to keep that in mind, right? So what kind of platform and infrastructure you're willing to push out is basically the one that you're going to get back. So it's a reciprocal approach. The more you give, the more you're going to get, especially when it comes to business. But one thing I want to keep you in the loop of, and this is going to be our point number 3, is do it for the long run, right? So a lot of people start their businesses and they get right on it and they try to be as aggressive as possible to try to make their first few sales. And what ends up happening is they suffer. And they suffer in a way that, it's not that they don't know how to sell their services or products, but they suffer in a way that they're too greedy, too upfront, right? The instant gratification is a big thing when it comes to business ownership, because we want to get paid, we want to build a lot of wealth, and we want to build massive amounts of fortunes for ourselves, but the instant gratification has to be delayed for that. When it comes to business building, especially post-pandemic, when things are so uncertain, you want to create certainty, right? So you have to leverage the platform, you have to balance the scale. If the world is uncertain, you have to create certainty. The way to do that is you have to think long term, and you got to balance the equation by adding critical components to your business and the way you conduct your business and the infrastructure of your business that'll tailor towards that long-term vision. Because if you don't have that, you will definitely falter, and the balanced scale is going to throw you off. So that's one of the most important things that I like to point out when it comes to doing this. So that's the third point I want to say, is think for the long term. The fourth point I want to address when it comes to operating a successful business, or actually doing something successful as an entrepreneurial journey, is have multiple touch points when it comes to customers, right? A lot of people focus too much on phone conversations, or too much on emails, or too much on text messages, and so on and so forth. The biggest thing you need to be flexible with is the communication lines that you have open when it comes to customers reaching out to you. Unless you're in the private wealth banking industry like myself, where we deal with wealth, we manage wealth, we buy and sell companies, and we hold companies and turn them around to potentially take them public and or exit them through a huge network of investors. That's a whole different ballgame. But you're in a business to start operating, to make some sales, to get the customer service flowing. So you need to have multiple touch points when it comes to your service, because if you don't have that and the communication is not established, what's going to happen is your customer is going to have a very difficult time choosing you, because they can't get in touch with you, and or perhaps they're going to find another competitor that just offers ease of communication. The rest could be crappy, and they'll still select that, because that's what it's all about. It's all about customer service. So I just wanted to point that out. And the fifth and final point I think I want to give you guys, and the reason this is very critical is because I've seen a lot of people suffer through that, is when you're basically doing business, you have to be careful of the liabilities that you're taking on as well. And I'm not talking about debt as a liability. I'm talking about brand liability. If you say certain things and you're basically pushing yourself out there, and people are looking at you like, hey, this person, I don't believe in what they're saying, or, they're basically supporting an organization that I don't like, and so on and so forth, being politically or correct or not, that can actually put you in a position where it's going to be risky. So you have to evaluate whether it's worth it for you to be positioned that way, whether you're willing to take on those hits, if it's going to be worth for you to position your brand that way, in a way that your customers will see that, and you'll be exposed to that platform. And of course, the internet is an open platform. You cannot hide from it. But in a positioning statement for yourself, do you think it's worth it for you the long haul? And if you can position yourself well in accordance to that and your belief system with all the geopolitical situation that's happening, and you're still willing to do business in that platform, then kudos to you. But my advice is stay neutral as you're doing business, because at the end of the day, that's what matters the most. And then once you go through that point and you come across on the other side with lots of profit and cash, and of course wealth, you'll thank yourself in the long haul. So with that said, I hope you guys enjoyed this quick, short, sweet, and concise video when it comes to starting an entrepreneurial journey and being in business for yourself. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, once again, don't forget to subscribe and turn the notifications on to all, so every time videos like these pop up, you'll be the first to know. In this channel, we talk about financial transformation, credit education, and building wealth on the long haul. So if you're with me on this journey, go ahead and subscribe, and don't forget to turn the notifications on once again. If you have any specific questions in reference to what I shared with you guys today, leave it in the comment section of this video. And share this video, like I said, with those you know for a fact are starting their business or are getting into the entrepreneurial goals and journey as well. This might help them a little bit, just to heed some warnings there. Okay, so with that said, this is your guide and mentor, Ali Tarafter. Catch you guys on the next one. Bye for now.